Mr. Heckles in Friends, and of course, Tom Pepper in Seinfeld.
The actor who portrayed Kramer
As Kramer.
in the
Playing Tom Pepper.
in the Seinfeld in the Jerry Seinfeld TV series on the TV series
Of Tom Pepper.
of Tom Pepper.
So
That's a great actor name.
and that's a great array of images because you can really see the arc of his career. Big sitcoms, Friends, and Seinfeld, and then boom, Breaking Bad, dramatic role.
right.
And of course, he's done an array, just a plethora of great roles in movies, TV shows, all over the place. Really great guy. Larry Hankin will be our guest tonight on the show. I'm very excited.
This is good.
He's an Oscar nominee. He's
Right.
won many of festivals.
He's a writer.
He's a writer, director, obviously actor. He's done it all. He's done a lot more than me and you put together.
Well, you're a close second.
That's true. Hey, Sally, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Excited about tonight's show.
Are you pumped?
I am. I think he's just one of those great character actors that
Character
you
actors
know,
are wonderful.
Yeah, I just have such an appreciation for his
Because-
stuff. He makes me
because-
giggle, you know.
He does.
Because
well,
usually
he's Mr. Giggles or
so
Mr.
many
Heckles.
times-
Mr. Heckles.
Do character actors, people think of constantly, but they don't get the recognition.
They're not
Of
the
course,
household name.
Sometimes they
thank
don't
you,
get
Sally.
they don't get the monetary, of course, that
They don't.
a big star does.
You have to have a love for the craft
Exactly.
to be the character actor, and I'm sure they hate that label. Character actor, but they're an actor.
But you want to know something? A character actor is, I think it's something very proud to be, because
Sure.
people know, I mean, just watch Turner Classic Movies, and you'll see all these character actors that are.
Don't make me watch.
great
I don't want to watch
actors.
Turner Classic Movies. Stop with your Turner.
Are you
Classic.
kidding me, Steve?
I'm done. Although I did see Marlon Brando the other day. I watched The Streetcar Named Desire. I had never watched the whole movie, but I did,
Yes.
and I wasn't impressed.
Oh, is that so?
That's when he screamed Stella.
Yes.
You don't need to do something like that today because you just have a cell phone. You just call, text. You would text Stella. you would scream so the whole neighborhood could hear. Boop, boop. Anyway, Stella.
Stella, Stanley? Why are you texting in capital letters? You're yelling.
We'll do a new version of Streetcar Named Desire. So, anyway, hey, let's queue up for our audience before we get Larry on. Let's queue up this great scene, and I'm sure you've all seen this. This is a famous scene from Seinfeld. Let's take a look at it. Throw it up there, Sal.
Do you have the volume up?
Aha.
Now,
Good.
I have volumes up everywhere, so let's double check. Try that. How's that working?
We'll find out.
We're going to find out. Take a look at something. How are we looking over here? I got everything up. I got our two auxiliaries up. Our telephone line is up. Stand by as we are trying to get you the clip from Larry Hankin in Seinfeld. We do our best here. I mean, come on. This is not broadcast television. Oh, here we go.
Put it up a little higher.
Yeah, getting rid of all my furniture, all of it. I am building levels with steps, completely carpeted. With pillars. Like ancient Egypt.
I don't know how you're going to be comfortable like that.
Oh, I'll be comfortable.
What are you doing?
So that was of course Larry Hankin when they were auditioning for their own roles
For the parts for the
parts of sitcom
pilot.
pilots of Seinfeld in Seinfeld. So we're going to talk to him about this, but I'll give you a little tease, and he was actually up for the role with Michael Richards for Kramer.
That wouldn't surprise me watching that episode
Right?
the first time. I had thought about that. I said, you know what? This guy probably could have been up for the running to play Kramer.
He was fantastic. So we're going to give Larry a call. We hope the our phone lines and his phone lines and all of our phone lines are working clear, so we can bring you the crisp, tantalizing stylings of Larry Hankin
Somewhere
somewhere. So
on the West Coast.
He is on the West Coast.
Yes.
We're on the East Coast, which it's dark here. I'm annoyed. We turn the clocks back.
Yes,
That's a bummer.
disgusting. It's horrible.
It is horrible. So,
What's going on?
we're gonna get Larry on. We're gonna have Sally give him a buzz. I have the telephone line up. I got it up pretty good. I got everything up. I got everything majorly up.
Sounds good.
Let's give him a call. Hopefully, you don't catch him in the bathroom or something.
How awkward would that be?
Well, I'm sure he'd be fine. We're not airing him. We're not Skyping in. He's fine.
Now, that would have been funny.
That would be funny. Well, we get Larry on.
Have the
Here we
Skype-
go.
Skype on the back.
Let me get him on.
Hello?
Larry, how are you?
Hey, I am fine.
This
still.
is great. This is it sounds a lot better. This is Steve and Steve from the Steve2 Show.
Aha, hence the name. I get it.
Now you
Okay,
get it.
that's cool.
It's the math. It's the whole math joke. we love our math humor here. Now,
Right.
Larry, I'm going to introduce you to our, who, of course, our audience knows you already. We just played a clip of the scene from Seinfeld where you were auditioning as Tom. You were Tom Pepper auditioning as Kramer.
Oh, cool.
So we just played that for the audience, and I'm going to introduce you now properly. We have an actor, writer, director, and congratulations, a Hollywood Fame Lifetime Achievement Award recipient.
Whoa.
I mean, this goes on. Sit back, Larry. I got a whole dossier listed for you here. Take a nap.
I can't follow this.
This is a lot. So we played obviously Mr. Heckles in Friends, Tom Pepper in Seinfeld, and just reprised his role as Old Joe, Steve, in
El Camino.
El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie,
Bad,
which was really good. I actually saw it last night. Did you get a chance to see it, Larry?
Oh, is the introduction finished? Wow, that
Yeah.
was okay. Yeah, I fell asleep. Yeah, I have actually. I have seen it. I liked it a lot. I liked me and Aaron Paul really was amazing.
Oh, he is.
Actually.
He is intense.
Yeah, but I didn't think that was a lot of energy expended. That was kind of cool.
Now, in that, I really like that scene because it has, I don't want to give it up to the audience, but it does have a quick twist in there in such a short scene.
Yeah, but there was, I think Vince, who is a great writer, I think he just wanted to get a lot of people in the movie from the TV show, just
Right.
to make sure he made his money back. I mean, that's what I kind of think. But other than that, yeah. But I kind of liked my scene because it had emotional content for later.
Yes.
So it was kind of cool.
I agree.
I really have nothing to say against Vince's writing and how he constructs it. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of things that were experimental in that. I mean, storytelling.
Right.
He likes to, even in Breaking Bad, he likes to experiment with how he reveals things and how he, presents characters and stuff. I really dig his writing. I really do.
It's great. And he really, I mean, this is a real feature for Aaron Paul, too, who was excellent. I mean, he really stretches in this movie.
Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold it. I got something. What the heck is going on?
You okay there?
Something is going on with my phone here.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
You sound clear here.
Yeah, but I can't. I can't hear. I guess I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was just saying that, no, Aaron Paul was excellent as well in this movie. He really, I mean, obviously he's really featured and he's all over the place here.
Yeah, it's really tough to carry a movie.
Yeah.
I mean, even to carry a scene.
Right.
Like to carry a movie.
No.
Yeah, it's hard work.
Now, more important than all of this, by the way, this is a big question that I've been thinking about all night. What would, since we just passed Halloween, what would Larry Hankin, of all the characters you've played, what would be your go-to costume for Halloween? What would you have gone as?
Well, me.
Yes. You would go as yourself?
goes. Yeah, I mean, costume-wise, I mean, old Joe had if you want to talk costume, old Joe had a lot of costume to put on. I mean, it doesn't come across in the movie.
Right.
But I had to wear long underwear because it was freezing where we shot this. It was freezing. It was like winter.
Where did you shoot it?
And this was in Utah.
Oh, Utah.
No, I mean New Mexico. It was in New Mexico.
Oh,
but
of course.
For some, maybe it's climate change. I don't know. But New Mexico has really cold winters. Nobody talks about that.
It's a desert.
But yeah, so I had
Right.
long underwear, and then I had workers' jeans. You know, like like mechanics in body shops. And then I had to put on that other uniform over it. And then I had to wear a shirt also underneath that.
Oh my God!
And then they wanted it all buttoned up. I couldn't have it unbuttoned.
I mean, how long did this process take? I mean, you must have had
about I don't know, about a half hour or
Oh
so,
my
or 45
God.
minutes, just to put everything on and get it right. And they
Wow.
would check me, and they would go, no, you have to button this button here. Oh, come on, man.
right.
Nobody's gonna look at
These
that.
incidentals.
No, button it.
I know. That's really funny. Now,
Yeah. I mean, but here's the thing, though.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's my job.
right.
That's how Vince Gilligan and all the movies you like get you to really like the mise-en-scene, the atmosphere.
Right.
If somebody does that, they go, no, button this button. It's not the button. It's the fact that they're paying attention to something that's small means they're paying attention to some really cool things, too.
Right.
So I get it. I mean, it's funny, and I even make jokes while they're checking me out. Button this button. But I understand that's why we like Breaking Bad.
It is. It's the detail. He pays attention.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. And I've been on shoots where they didn't care about the detail, and that stuff just goes in kind of subliminally.
Right.
So you don't know why you're not really invested in the characters, and sometimes that's why. Sometimes,
Now,
sometimes it's just a bad movie.
That's true. Now, when we played our opening scene of you auditioning as for Kramer in that Seinfeld episode,
right, yeah.
Me and Steve were just talking. I want to take credit for myself because when I watched that, I remember watching that and saying he could have easily played Kramer, and then boom, I find out you were up against Michael Richards for that part. How close were you to getting that role?
Not very close at all.
Oh.
I was too close. Is the truth? I and the real Kramer could be brothers. Well, me and Michael Richards
Right.
could be brothers too, and we were casting brothers once, long before Seinfeld ever happened. We worked together, because we always auditioned for the same part.
Okay, you knew.
Because we look alike,
right? You knew Michael Richards.
But I really look a lot more like the real Kramer that the Larry David knew.
Right.
Then I look like Michael Richards. But I tend to go under my characters. I like the audience to do a little work,
Now,
So Michael goes. I could never come up with that coming through the door.
Yes.
Thing that he does. I mean, it was so cool.
Now it's
really funny. But I would never have come up with that. I would come up with maybe something different.
Tell a funny story.
Yeah.
I remember you telling a funny story about you had to come through the door. Larry made you come in through the door several times in that audition.
Oh yeah, man! I was ready to unload. I in those days I had an attitude problem. I probably still do, but I can hide it a little.
I do
better.
too. It's okay.
But no, and I just before I was about to blow up, right at him during the interview, during the audition, that I asked because I guess you know this, when I went out the last time to go through the door, which was one time too many, I said to somebody outside, I was a secretary, I said, who the hell is that bald guy with the glasses in there? Keeps telling me to come in the door because I'm going to unload on him. And she said, oh, that's Larry David. He owns the show. He writes it. I go, oh.
So it's good you didn't unload on him.
Thank God I am. Thank God. Outside the door. And whatever you want, Larry, that's fine with me.
No, that character was great. Now it's funny you just mentioned how you like the audience to do a little work, and that's what I like about your comedy, because, I mean, some people call it deadpan, but it's a real subtleness. And you I've heard you a lot of times refer to Charlie Chaplin. Was that an influence?
No, Buster Keaton, but
Buster
Charlie
Keaton.
Chaplin, because of the way he. Buster Keaton, because of the deadpan. That's always,
Yes.
But the Charlie Chaplin, because I could never. Well, I guess all the great ones, Buster Keaton, and I could never find Charles Chaplin when I watched Charlie Chaplin, when I watched the Little Tramp, when I watched his movies. I grew up on Charlie Chaplin and Buster Keaton. That's all I cared about.
Wow.
Is I would buy these little super 8mm little, things you could watch on these little reels, these little plastic reels, or little, I don't know, whatever, battery operated. But that's what I would watch. And then Milton Berle came along and all that, and then then TV came along and stuff. But mainly I just loved how Buster Keaton never copped to anything.
Yes.
It was just so cool, man.
Yeah,
So you just laughed because the impossibility of. But Charlie Chaplin too. But Charlie Chaplin, because I liked him because I couldn't. He wouldn't cop to who he was in real life. He was the character.
Right.
It was just amazing.
Well, I think their comedy was also very smart. It was almost ahead of its time.
Oh yeah.
You can almost apply it to today. It would be funny today.
You mean those two, particularly those two guys?
Sure.
Yeah, I try to do that in my in some of my films that I make, but it's hard because it's just like any other book translation. Going from Spanish to English, from Latin to Greek to French to American, whatever. It's the translation, and that's funny. But if you did it that broad as Chaplin or Keaton, it wouldn't be half as funny. But if you did it and translated it so that there's several modern comedians who can do it.
Who do you like?
Oh man, I keep on forgetting people's names. I have always trouble with names. Bill Murray is one who can pull that off.
Yes.
His deadpan is just amazing.
Yes.
There's a couple of other people, actors like that.
I think
you know who's good. I don't like Adam Sandler in his serious roles,
right?
Not in his movies, but when he works with good directors and the real. Then when he comes to a joke, he does deadpan it. The one, and also Apatow, Judd Apatow.
Judd Apatow.
His direction, his stories are deadpan.
Well, Paul Rudd is really good at that. Paul Rudd is very good at that.
Paul Rudd, yeah. There's certain people who can pull that off.
Yes.
Better than others, but Bill Murray is one of the best.
Oh, he's great.
There's 2 or 3 others.
Now let me. Now that you're speaking on this, let me ask you a question. Comedic actors, do you feel they have an easier time transitioning to do a dramatic role as opposed to the other way? Say, because sometimes I see dramatic actors try to do comedy and it just doesn't work. It's terrible. And I don't want to give examples here, but it just doesn't work. But you see a lot of comedic actors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, some people can do it. There are serious actors who are really, really funny, and serious songwriters and people who a lot of musicians have incredible senses of humor.
Right.
Even in a serious musician. But generally that's true. Generally, it's harder to go from drama to comedy than it is to go. Jerry Lewis, who can be, I can hate him sometimes for the things he does comedy-wise. But when he does serious acting, he really can pull off some nice moves. Yes. There's one particular movie I have in mind where he played the lead serious comedian. Oh, but here's what De Niro learned to be a funny guy. De Niro, he once did. No, yeah, it was Jerry Lewis in King of Comedy.
Yes.
Really pulled it off.
Yeah,
he
that
was
was
very
great.
serious. But De Niro in some movie, I can't remember. He played a stand-up comedian. I don't remember.
King of Comedy.
But he had to
was-
do
yeah.
a stand-up. What?
I think that was King of Comedy, right?
Well, one of those.
There was
they
another
both
movie.
did
That,
a
you're
stand-up
right,
comedy.
Larry. There was another movie where he played a stand-up, and I saw.
Yeah.
it.
So,
It
but
was-
when De
it
Niro
wasn't my favorite.
had to go on, in the story, in the narrative, he had to go on, I guess, the Johnny Carson show,
Right.
and do a stand-up routine. And I started out as a stand-up comic. I was opening for Woody Allen and Miles Davis, so I was pretty good. I mean, I knew what I was
Were
doing.
you around Lenny Bruce as well?
And Lenny Bruce, I kind of knew Lenny Bruce,
Yeah.
because I was funny. I mean, that's the reason he liked me.
Larry,
but-
were you down in the Village in those days, like the Village Gate and all those
Yeah. that
clubs
was
where like
that's where
Joan
I grew
Rivers
up.
was and
Yeah.
and Cosby.
Those are my
and-
people. Those are my peeps.
right?
So when did
And
you?
then Bob
when
Dylan was really funny.
when did?
I
Oh,
mean,
really?
They were all there.
Wow.
We knew each other. It
So-
was crazy. It was weird.
So when did you?
We just go from one place. You'd see somebody on a Monday night,
Right.
or they'd be booked on Friday night. To star. It was just they were there.
And when did you go then? Was that this before Second City, or was this?
Yeah. In other words, I was touring, and I was like Lenny Bruce, but without the drugs. I hadn't done drugs yet. That was to come.
That was pre-drug, Larry.
That was pre-drugs. I was pretty funny. Opening for Woody, for Miles Davis, for
Wow.
the Kingston Trio. Hadn't done any drugs yet at all.
Wow, I love the
I was
Kingston
just a
Trio.
naive kid who happened to be surrounded by everybody who was doing drugs. I don't know how that happened. But,
And then,
they just kept it from me. I know a lot
Wow.
of people who kept it from me. No, don't give it to him. Then finally somebody did, and that was cool.
well, these things
but-
happen.
Better late.
I was like Lenny, but I was being pulled off the stage by police.
Oh, my
that
God.
was like, it was. I was opening for the Love and Spoonful in Washington D.C.
Wow.
at Washington University. No, not Washington D.C. In I don't know, Louisiana,
Wow.
some southern state, and I was at Washington University. I don't know where that is. But yeah, the police came. They reported me. They also reported me to Northwestern. I was opening for the Love and Spoonful, doing stuff about God and pop
Right.
and stuff.
So you were
But
doing
I
edgy
was just
material.
imitating.
So was it? Why
What?
were they pulling you off? Because of the material?
Because I was talking about God. I
Oh.
was talking about God, and I said,
Yes.
Little
what's
edgy.
this funny little thing? God created man, and I said, because I wanted to keep it clean, because I thought maybe I could do it on television, which was a joke. No way. So
that wasn't happening.
So I said, he made man. So I had this little man, image between my thumb and forefinger. He was like, 2 inches high.
Gotcha.
So God was holding man. So he made man. Hey, what's this between your legs? Boom! That was it.
That was
Oh,
it.
that's it.
They
Good
took-
night.
That was
Got you right off.
I went a sand grain over the line.
Wow.
And they called the cops. I didn't know they called the cops, but by the time but the audience started to boo and throw things. Those wooden handles that they have in the seats.
Sure.
You can pull them off
Oh my
in the
God.
theater seats.
Wow.
And they started throwing them. Yeah, they would have hit me. The Love and Spoonful thought it was very funny. They're backstage. They were laughing. No, keep going. They said, get back out there.
Oh my God.
So I kept going, and they kept throwing stuff. And then finally I calmed them down, and I said, okay, I'm not going to talk about God. I won't talk about God. And they stopped. They really did. It was it's a university, So I stopped, and then when I started to get, when they started to go with me again, I was getting big laughs. I said, okay, now we can talk about God. And they got angry.
Oh,
But what I didn't know was the first time I talked about God, even when I stopped, the dean of the college, who was in the back, called the police anyway. So by the time I got, about 10 minutes later, by the time I got to the second time, I said, okay, we're going to talk about God now, again. Immediately, the cops were there in the back, and they came up on stage and pulled me off the stage,
Wow.
So I called my manager, who was Woody's manager, and I said, no, I'm a middle-class guy. I'm not into this stuff. So they said, what can you do? So they said, go join Second City. You can do the same stuff, but they own the theater.
Right.
So I auditioned for Second City. So that's how I got there, and that started my acting career.
Now,
So
did you ever, when you
there
were
you
at
go.
when you were at Second City, because it's always known a lot of those guys end up on Saturday Night Live. Was that
Yeah,
was
right.
that ever something you were interested in?
Oh, definitely, but this was before that.
This was before that, right?
What happened was I'm kind of an outlier. I'm kind of a comedy outlaw.
Okay, that's the best kind.
There's certain things I don't. Certain things I won't do or won't work for or be with, or I don't know. I don't want to do that. Or anyway, Second City was really cool, and I wanted to stay there, but there was a whole group of 5 or 6 other people who wanted to go to San Francisco and start their own company. And that sounded thrilling. That sounded great. So I went with that. So I left Second City to go and start the committee in San Francisco. And we were all the rage
That was
in
classic,
San
the
Francisco.
committee,
We were
right?
very successful.
Fred
so that
Willard,
was kind of
right?
cool.
Was that Fred Willard also?
No. Fred Willard was in. Fred Willard and I knew each other in Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
So everybody was there,
Right.
even Fred Willard. Everybody. Bob Dylan. Who else?
Joan Rivers, Bill Cosby.
I don't know. You name them, they were there. Frank Zappa was there. hanging
Zappa,
out.
the Mamas and the Papas.
Mamas and the Well, no.
No.
John
Phil.
yes,
John
the
and-
Mamas and the Papas, but they weren't the Mamas and the Papas.
Right.
They were just 4 different people.
Yeah,
Battalion
they were all
Nazi
down
was
there.
The Lovin' Spoonful.
Steven
and,
Stills, probably, right?
Who?
Steven Stills?
Steven Stills. No, he came a little later.
He came a little
was,
later.
As soon as I left, Steve
Right.
came in town.
It was a
He
lot.
was waiting for me
It
to
was so
leave.
exciting in the village in those days. New York was just
Oh.
in the early '60s.
Yeah, but you didn't know. I didn't know this person
Right.
was
Who they,
you know.
they were going
I
to be
mean,
who they were, right?
Sam Shepard was there. I was doing Sam Shepard's plays in those
Wow.
days. Yeah, but I didn't know he was Sam Shepard. I didn't know
right.
this was Bob Dylan. I didn't. They were just people, just, oh, wow, this guy's good, this guy's bad, I don't like this guy. Yeah, hey, let's go have a drink, da-da-da. It was, and then all of a sudden there would be these, you would be in another city and you'd say, what? This guy's got an album out? But I saw him. He's full of shit,
Now, how did
It
you
was like that.
how did you have time to? Now, you did go to Syracuse, right? You went to university,
Yeah,
right?
Syracuse University.
And-
Yeah, I was a late bloomer.
Now, ask me this. Now, this is I want to ask you this. You knew or you were friends with Carl Gottlieb, no?
He was my roommate. We were roommates. We used to fight off my fraternity together.
Now, for our audience
he was a scourge,
who doesn't
man.
know,
Yeah,
he's the writer and of the screenplay for Jaws, all the Jaws.
Well, all of them, pretty much all
All
of
of
them.
them.
I think
So
maybe
now,
just one.
so
Just got
Larry,
tired of
so
it.
Larry,
Yeah.
did you ask him? How did you not get a part in Jaws?
Because it was Steven Spielberg's movie, and that was his
Right.
first big break, Carl's
Yeah.
first big break.
Okay.
He wasn't trying to.
He didn't have that clout.
He was asking to be in it himself.
Oh, was he really?
So he wanted to be in it himself, and he was. So he could. He's not going to,
He was.
threaten his being in the
yeah,
movie
just
to try and get a
Right.
friend leveraged in.
Now, what
No,
part,
I didn't even expect it.
what
No,
part
that
would you?
was-
What,
no way.
Now you've seen Jaws, obviously. What role would you? What role? And I know the role, I think, but what role do you think you would have been great at?
Ahab.
Captain
Captain
Quinn.
Quinn.
Captain Quinn.
Quinn.
Robert Shaw's.
Quinn.
Robert Shaw's
No,
character.
no. I don't see a part in it for me.
No? Yeah, it wasn't too funny. Didn't have a lot of laughs in
No,
Jaws.
I mean, yeah, what part could I have played?
I'm thinking.
you know?
I think you would have made a great like Captain Quinn, like what Robert Shaw played. I think he was kind of he had his funny,
Quint.
He,
Captain
he had,
Quint,
you know,
yeah.
he had his kind of humor, but it was almost subtle. You know.
Oh
in a way.
yeah, but I don't know if at that age. that
Oh,
was done a
true.
long
Oh, that's
time ago.
true.
You were young.
You were young.
young at that
Lord,
point.
Oh
yeah.
my God, that is.
So he had the weight. I'm talking about bulk. I'm talking about. I'm
Yes.
a thin guy. But
Yeah.
that he's been around. That he is captained many boats. He just had that aura about him, and I didn't carry that with me. I couldn't have brought that to
Right.
the part. I would have had to have acted that. And that's something, like De Niro when he did, the boxing movie. He couldn't act that fat. He had to get that fat.
But he had to put on a tremendous lot of weight for Raging Bull.
Yeah, to pull that off.
But
and he had to train to get that muscular. He couldn't act that muscular. I mean, there's certain things that just visually you can't manipulate.
Exactly. But you did, in a dramatic role, going away from the comedy for a second. I really love Charlie Butts in Escape from Alcatraz.
Well, yeah, but I fit that role. Now,
right.
Here's a story about that to kind of show you what I'm talking about. When I went to audition, that was like hello, Larry. My agent called me. He said, "Larry, what are you doing right now?" I said, "Nothing." He said, "Okay, go to Warner Brothers right now."
I love that.
I don't care. Just hop in the car right now and go there. They're casting for Clint Eastwood's new movie, Escape from Alcatraz. They just want to talk to you. I guess they've seen you in something. They want to talk to you. I said, "What part? What's the part? Do I get a side? Let me read something." He said, "There's no sides. I don't know what part. They didn't say. Just get over there." So I did. Hopped in a car and I go all the way over to the valley, man. Just tear-assing across. And I get there. It takes me about 45 minutes to get there. I run in. And I sit down, and there's nobody there. Nobody at all. And except this one secretary. She's sitting in this office. And I say, "Hey, they auditioning for Alcatraz?" No. "Oh, wait a minute. Are you Larry Hankin?" "Yeah." And she hands me the entire script.
Wow.
And I said, "Well, what part am I reading for?" She says, "I don't know. They didn't say." I said, "Well, I can't read a whole script." I'm totally
right.
I got a lot of adrenaline because of the drive and everything.
Sure.
So I'm antsy. I can't read this whole thing, and that's kind of crazy. I said, well, so I gave it back to her, and I said, I took it in my lap. I remember that, but I didn't open it because I said it's useless, So I just sat there, and then this lady peeks out of another office and says, "Are you Larry?" I go, "Yeah." She says, "Are you ready?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm really ready." And I go in. And there's Don Siegel, and then this, it turns out, really famous casting, mogul lady, who is, she's, I don't know her name. Anyway, there's just the two of them, and so he goes, "What part do you want to play?" Don Siegel, the director.
Wow.
And I go, I don't know, I just showed up. I just got this call from my man. I said, oh. And she says to him, "Oh, he doesn't know. Maybe we should do this another time." And he says, "No, we don't have time." Okay, here's the two parts. And he says, "There's a guard, and there's Charlie Butts." Well, I didn't know what Charlie Butts even meant. So he says, "There's guard and Charlie Butts." And she says, "I don't know about the guard." And he goes, "Yeah." And he looks at me and he says, "You have to beat up Clint Eastwood. I don't think you could do it." And I said, No.
Good casting
I
call.
agree. I totally agree. I said, "Yeah, right." So he says, "Okay, so you want to do Charlie Butts?" And I thought, I don't know. And she immediately interrupts him and says, "He doesn't look anything like Charlie Butts."
Wow.
And I go, "Oh, yeah, that was like a death knell." So he opens the book. No, she opens the book and she reads it to him. And she says, "Look." He says, "Well, what do you mean?" And she says, "He has red hair, he's short and freckles, and he wears glasses." She says, this is nothing like him." So he takes the script from her, he winks at me, and he says to her, "They don't have the script."
That's great.
And he says, "Do you want to do it?" And I go, "Yeah."
Of course. Yeah, why not? That's the auditions I love.
Yeah. I mean, especially with that attitude. And he says, "Okay, I'm going to read with you."
Okay.
And I go, "Oh, that kind of frightened me because I need to study it." So he says, "You want to go over it?" And I go, "No, let's just do this." Because I knew I was going to get fired. So he said, "Okay." So he says, "Here," and he hands me the thing. He says, "Just read this page with me." So I go, "Okay, blah, 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 blah." And I just read it with him. Blah, 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 blah. And he goes, "Okay, you got it. Thank you. Goodbye." Wow. And I looked at him, because they don't do that. They don't tell you. They never tell you right there.
Right.
They have to get approval. It's a long process.
Sure.
So I looked at him, and he goes, "You don't believe me, do you?" And I go, "Well, frankly, now that you mention it, no, I don't." And I said it to him with an attitude because I thought he was fucking with me. Because I saw him fucking with her, so I figured, he just
Right. It's
he
just messing with
likes
everybody.
To mess with people.
Right.
Yeah. So I said no. So he said, "I tell you what, go home and sit by the phone, see what happens."
Wow.
So I did. I drove all the way home, and just about, 10 minutes after I walked in the door, the phone rings. He says, "Hey, man, you got it." So that's how I got the. So go figure,
That's a classic.
show business.
That's show. Well, there you go. That's showbiz. We always say that. So Larry, let's.
But it was great working with him. But I just liked hanging around with Don Siegel. I loved.
I mean, it was a great part. I mean, was that your first dramatic role?
Yeah, but the thing was, since I didn't look like Charlie Butts, but I did look kind of naive,
Right.
kind of like, I'm in the wrong place at the wrong time in Alcatraz,
Yeah.
which was Charlie Butts' whole thing. The real guy, that he was in the wrong place for the wrong reasons.
Right.
And when I watched the movie, I've watched it once or twice, and the more I watch it, the more I see what Don Siegel was going for and why he cast me. It was he didn't know nothing, he was an innocent, and they were, he couldn't swim. Oh, that was the other thing, which I kind of just found out just now, actually. When one of the things, because I had very few film scenes,
Right.
so you learn to protect your character as an actor. That's what your job. Protect your character, the truth of the character. But you also got to protect your scenes for yourself. So if you got a plot line, that's really good because they generally can't cut your scene if they shoot you with a plot line in it.
Right.
Because it's important. So I knew I had a plot line. In one of my scenes, I had a plot line, and John Siegel comes up to me and he goes, "Listen, that line, when Clint Eastwood comes up to you and says, 'We're going tomorrow night. Why are you so nervous?' And I say to him, 'I can't swim.' And he says, 'Well, you're going to have to deal with it.' And he walks away. And that was the scene. So Don Siegel says, 'We're cutting this line.' So I go, 'Why?' He says, 'Because I'm cutting the scene.' So right away, I'm just trying to protect, any scene I have. I said, no, you can't. I've got a plot line. I'm telling the director, no, I got a plot line. I got a plot line.
It's pivotal.
And he goes, yeah, it's pivotal. He says, what do you mean? Yeah, what? I don't know what I said, but it was like, he said like, well, what do you mean it's pivotal? What does that got to do with anything?
Right.
He said, well, I told him. I said, look, I based my character on it. Everything, the nervousness that I'm playing and all the scenes is because I can't swim, and I know it. And I'm afraid to tell these guys because they'll leave me behind.
Right.
But I'm afraid of going in the water. So I've been using it. So he says, the audience doesn't have to know that that's why you're nervous, do they? I go, well, no. He says, the scene's cut. Cut the line. Goodbye. And he walks away.
Wow.
And he just kept on doing that to me, like putting me on, but
Right.
for very good reasons, I mean, I loved his sense of humor and how he treated me.
Was he one of your favorite directors? You work with Hughes.
Oh, man, without a question.
Yeah.
The guy knew so much. Don Siegel taught Clint Eastwood to direct.
Wow.
As a matter of fact, Clint Eastwood had a teaching lesson on Alcatraz where Don Siegel played the doctor that was examining a patient in one of the scenes. And Don Siegel was the doctor in the scene because he wanted to watch. Clint was going to direct one scene. And this is one of his first time directing, Clint's.
Right.
So Don Siegel wanted to be there. He says, well, as long as I'm there, to watch you, Clint, let me be in it. I'll pick up an extra couple of bucks. So, yeah, so that's Don Siegel who's playing the doctor in the scene.
Wow.
And Clint Eastwood is directing. And he directed all different. He directed he dressed like a director. Clint did.
Uh-huh. He put his director's
came in
hat
totally
on.
different.
Really?
You know, he had that little the loop, you know, the thing they hang around the necks to look at the clouds, you know, see if they got enough light.
Right.
He had one of those.
Okay.
It was indoors in Alcatraz. What the hell do you have one of those? It was so stupid, you know. But he had a
He had
director's
he was trying to
jacket on.
Right. He wanted to gain his respect as a director. He
Yeah,
was trying to play the role.
For Don.
Right. He's playing it for Don. Now, Larry, that was a great flick, but. A couple of your current stuff now. Let's talk about what you got going on now. I was talking to you a little earlier about your book that just came out on Amazon. Loophole Dossier, which is
The Loopholes Dossier. Yeah. Well, it's just
talk about that.
Well, basically it was written over a period of years. I was homeless for a while. I've hung around with politicians, and I've hung around with homeless people, and not being homeless. And so I wrote 3 different survival stories. One was fables, the Sometimes Jones fables.
Right.
They're all about how this 15-year-old runaway who was a pickpocket prodigy, how he survives and what he calls surviving. And what a lot of people, I'm into, words and the definitions. When I say survival and you say survival, we see 2 different things,
Right.
Like if you say tree and I say tree, we're thinking 2 different trees. But so survival is the same thing. Politicians are surviving, which is bullshit. They're just servicing their debt and covering their mortgage. That's what they're doing with Trump. They're just covering their mortgage, man.
Right.
They don't want to lose their job. They got
Exactly.
kids, but how you doing? Well, I'm surviving. And then that's I don't know if you got to the politician part yet about
Right.
the president.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's about how he survives and what he uses
Right.
to quote unquote survive. And then there's the last one, which is Barnum Justice, a homeless guy, and how he covers his time, because when you're homeless, I was homeless for a year.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing you got to think of when you're homeless is 2 things, really, man. And it goes into your subconscious. You don't even know you're thinking about only these things. Well, maybe 3, food, but it's a bathroom, and what do you do with the time? You have so much time. It's killing. It kills you. It drives you insane. It drives you stupid is what it does. You have to kill time. Even looking for food doesn't fill up the time.
Right.
So I wrote about how one person, Barnum Justice, fills his time by doing something to help other people survive. But they're all just survival mechanisms. I don't know. It's kind of a satire on what people do to survive.
What I see, and I was looking at this arc, you've developed and help me if I get the arc correctly. There's Sometimes Jones, right? And then you have now Emmett Demas. And there's this.
Right.
Now, which are these? Are you the urban survivalist? Is that you? Is over this whole
They're
lifetime?
All me.
They're all you.
Everything I have ever written, even the words "the" and "and," are me.
Right.
You can't escape it if you're really a good writer. I mean, you can disguise it. It's disguised. It's disguised. But I wanted to run away when I was 14 or 15. I wanted to run away, and that. From my home, I had a very bad home life. Very what do you call it? Aggressive. Aggressive. The opposite.
Passive aggressive.
Passive aggressive childhood.
Yeah.
And then my father had an incredibly bad, violent temper. So it was not fun being at home.
Right.
Plus, I was dyslexic and ADHD. Not a good place to be. So I always wanted to run away. So when I finally started to write later years, I would fantasize, okay, let's get a runaway. What would be the greatest adventure had I run away? Is basically how I got to Sometimes Jones. It's a runaway's great adventure,
Right.
is what he's on, even though he sometimes wins and sometimes loses.
Right.
That's part of the adventure. And then when I started to dabble in in Second City and the committee and doing my stand-up and stuff, I got social, and that started the political stuff.
Right.
So that's where the president comes in, or the former president comes in the second. And then when I was homeless, I started to hang around with homeless people and be homeless people, and started thinking like homeless people think, which is a danger because that's not normal.
Right.
You have different priorities as a homeless person, and they are forefront, and that is really closer to survival. So I wanted to express that in a very kind of funny dramedy way.
Yeah, I mean,
through the notebooks and oral passages of what do you call it? I forget these characters' names. Barnum Justice.
Barnum Justice. Now, when I was looking at you kind of root for these for these characters, like sometimes Jones and Emmett Demas. Like when you see him, in Solly's Diner, which
that's sometimes Jones. That's
right.
That's sometimes Jones about when he's 18, and those stories start when he's 15. But I take him until he's about 40.
Right.
But
you see that art, and you always are rooting for him, and he has this kind of heroic qualities about him because he's surviving.
He's surviving. But the secret to all of them is this, and that somebody director once defined Chaplin. He was asking me, I was doing my homeless characters. I was starting to develop Emmett Demas, which turned into Barnum Justice. When you say Emmett Demas, it's also Barnum Justice.
Right.
Emmett Demas is more of a motorcycle old guy than a homeless guy.
Gotcha.
But they're the same guy, really.
Right.
Just he puts on a hat and gets on a motorcycle and changes his name. That's all. So when I was developing this homeless character, when I was in Hollywood, I was developing the homeless Emmett Demas for the stage, and so the director who's directing what I wrote asked me a very pointed question. He said, "Where's this guy coming from? Why is he just homeless? Why is he always homeless?" I said, "Well, Chaplin is always homeless." He said, "Yeah, so can you figure that out? I mean, if Chaplin is so smart that he can outsmart crooks and guys bigger than him and always save the girl, why isn't he rich? Why is he always poor?" Well, that was that stumped me. I couldn't figure that out. It took me a long time.
Wow.
But finally, he told me. He let me stew with it for a couple of days, trying to work it out. And then he said, because that's where he functions at his highest level. At his highest level. At the tramp's highest level. He has total freedom, and he can attack the high people because he's got the moral high ground. The less you have, the more moral high ground you have to function on a survival level, not on a civil level.
Right.
Chaplin could steal candy from a baby. He steals food from babies a lot
and get away with it.
And get away with it. Why?
Right.
Because the fucking guy's starving,
He's
and
starving.
this baby isn't.
Right.
So it's a question of. And that's where, mercy comes in and, extenuating circumstances come in the law. They figure that in. And clowns generally are poorer than the people they attack. And they don't attack equals but people who have more power than them, a lot more power than them.
Right.
So that they have the righteous moral high ground. And so that helped me get my character where the homeless guy, Barnum Justice or Emmett Demas, comes from.
Gotcha.
It gives him an advantage without any of the niceties of society,
right.
Which sometimes doesn't work.
Are you going to be now? You performed this as a one act solo performance recently, right? Are you still doing that? Are you still performing this?
No, because I finally, because I was always working on it. It was always a work in progress, and I find that I wanted to just freeze it. So that's why I wrote the book.
Gotcha.
The book is half the book is an act, one act that I've been working on for about 3-4 years. And it would just grow, and then I would pull in things and rewrite it. It never solidified. I was always changing it, and so I could never get a bead on the momentum of the show, the rhythm of the show, because I was always changing it.
Right.
So I wanted to just nail it. So I put it in, and worked on the book for a while, about 6 months, just editing it and re-editing it and rewriting it.
Yeah, the book
until I could get it.
The book is really
Yeah.
good. I mean, I'll tell our listeners, and it's on Amazon, Loophole Dossier by Larry Hankin. It's a great book. I was reading it, and the stories are great, and you depict all the characters, and yeah, just like what you're talking about, you know, the...
Well, that's really cool. Thank you very much. Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the first feedback. I mean, I fans, I guess, don't, well, I guess they don't know where to, you know, say, hey, it's a great book. But yeah, if anybody wants to tell me what they thought, you know, go to my Facebook page, Larry Hankin.
Now,
I'd be curious.
You were mentioning also are you doing a full feature on this? Are you doing a full movie?
No, not. This is totally different.
Totally
I
different.
just want to get off. I've been writing that book in one form or another as
Right.
a stage play or whatever.
Got you.
For a couple of years, so I just need a. I also wrote screenplays that I never finished, so I got this one.
Okay.
It's a horror movie. That's a real comedy. It's really funny.
Oh, yeah?
But it's really horrible.
Well, the horror comedies are in, so you'll be you know, this is the right time.
I just want to. There's a great part in it for me. I'm writing it for myself. I mean, the lead.
Well, that's what
Well,
I
what's
need.
the-
That's what
it's
I
a
need to
code.
do. I need to cast that's how I'll get parts, is to write things for myself. That's kind of what I found. Is, you know, as I
Yeah,
go on audition, you know what?
definitely.
Do your own thing, right? Create your own part.
Definitely. Nowadays, because of digital, I have this guy from India. I get these letters from, you know, fans from all over the world on my Facebook page because,
Right.
you know, that's how it works. Says the guy, no, I want to be an actor. They even type in kind of like an accent, or I don't know, they're learning English. But it's cool. You know, it's cool.
Right.
But the guy says, I want to be actor. You know, can you help me, please? You know, and the spelling is off. But I go, no, I don't want to be an actor anymore. I'm just doing my own thing. I can't help you. It's all different now.
Right.
I started many, many years ago, before digital.
The process
So
is
it's
different.
So if I had to start over again, I wouldn't know what to tell anybody except what you just told me. And that is because of digital, you got to make your own acting reel, make your
Right.
own movie, make your own film. That's what's being done. If you want any, you know, help in being an actor, you got to make your own movies.
It's so true. And
You know, like if you want to be a director, make your own movie.
make your own movies. Be your own
You just
resume.
got to do it yourself. You know.
Now,
Like, you know why?
Yeah.
Because I was just talking about it with the website.
yes.
She said, I want to sell T-shirts with my art on it. They're really cool. I got these really cool art things, and some of them make great T-shirts. So she said, the one who's going to run it, the website, says, no, that's not good. I go, why not? She says, well, because I don't think we can keep the inventory. That's very expensive to make all the inventory for all the choices. And I just said to her, I think inventory is dead in the digital age. Everything is a one-off now.
Right.
That book that you bought, that was a one-off.
Yes.
They make the book when they get the order. They don't have an inventory because digital can print a book in like maybe 2 minutes,
Exactly.
including the hardcover. And also the ebook, there's no cover. They just mail it to. They just mail you the file.
Right.
There's no waiting time at all.
Yeah. No.
So
it's-
so they can, you know, and now you got those plastic things you can make guns and heads and bodies and fenders for cars. That stuff. You can make anything now. You know, as a one-off.
It's a new
Just-
age. This is the new age, right?
Yeah, so it hit acting. So that's your one-off,
That's-
your film. If you want to be an actor, go act, film it,
Now,
send it to somebody.
you give good advice, and I'll tell you this. I'll leave you with this before I let you go. You said something once before, and you said get out of when you were giving advice. It was on an interview. I forget with who, but you said to advice to actors: get out of your comfort zone.
Well, I don't know if I said that, but that's right on.
Yeah.
If I said that, boy, am I right.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
you told. So I was thinking of that yesterday because I was cast in this webisode. I was telling Steve and Sally, and I wasn't going to do it because it wasn't something I was comfortable with in the roles
Right.
that I go for. But then I came upon that interview you did, and I said, you know what? Let me just do it, and I was happy I did, and it really
Right.
And it
Okay.
was-
So let me make an addendum to that
Sure.
thing because you made me realize something just now. So thank you. Okay. Get out of your comfort zone and get into your comfort zone, which is what you just told me just now.
right, exactly.
And getting out of your comfort zone, I think, from my experience, is actually not a comfort zone. The comfort zone is where you hit it when you let go of your bullshit and you just went there
Right.
without all the, well, I don't know if I can't, I don't, I shouldn't, I won't, I didn't. All that is not a comfort zone. That's your ego. That's what you walk around to protect yourself
Right.
from other human beings.
Exactly. That's true.
But when you get to your comfort zone, everything is cool, man,
No, it's
because you're you.
It's so true.
I mean, so when they say be real, when you act, be real, it's no, be yourself. Just give a hue to it, as opposed to Michael Richards, who gives a color to it. I give it a hue.
Yeah.
But Michael Richards is just doing Michael Richards.
Exactly. Yeah.
He's just pumping it up.
right.
Yeah, but he can do that because he gets into his comfort zone. Michael Richards is not a comfortable person in person. He
Can't
isn't.
imagine.
I mean, he doesn't like to be around people. He's not socially apt.
Right.
Which
So
that whole stand-up thing, obviously, that showed how uncomfortable he really was. I don't know.
yeah,
He should have been up there.
and some people can cash in on it, can monetize their discomfort, through writing or acting or
Right.
flying a kite or flying an airplane or jumping off a bridge or whatever.
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
and living.
most artists do have these little
Yeah.
peccadillies that we
Yeah,
have
to
that
cash in
drive
on.
us exactly. But I think we all have
If you
that. I know.
can't, if you
Steve, you
can't
have
cash
many
in
of
on
them.
it, then you think you're not in your comfort zone. And I do it with music. I found that.
Now, do you? That's
When
what
I did.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Do
Barry? Did you see that part I
Yes.
did in
Yes.
Barry?
Yeah, with Bill Hader.
Okay, well that was totally in my comfort zone, and I had to work at it to get out of my comfort zone to get into that comfort zone. That was the hardest part I've ever worked on pre-doing it,
Wow.
because I'm an improviser.
Right.
Just tell me something and instant character. But no, I took that very seriously, and I took Bill Hader very seriously too, because I respect him.
It's such a great
So
show.
I worked on that, and I found that after a while working on it,
Yeah.
I started to relax and get what was on the page. I relaxed enough to understand, if you relax enough, you start to understand more. It's weird how
Well, you can
that
take
is.
right. You absorb more. You take it. You're not guarded. You're
Yeah,
you're really
exactly.
open. You're more open.
Yeah, exactly.
And really
Yeah.
delve in. No, it was spot on. And I want to thank you so much, Larry, for spending a whole hour with us. That was really, really great of you.
No, it's fun.
And
fun.
we'll
And I learned a little math.
and
too.
you learned a little math, the Steve Squared Show. So definitely, we'll put it out there, your book and your web and your new website and all your projects. And
Oh yeah, did I mention the name? Just the
Yeah.
real Larry Hankin? It's not Larry Hankin. It's the reallarryhankin.com.
The Real
It'll
Larry
be open in
Hankin.
about a week or two. You can go on. It's in beta mood now.
Okay, great.
Mode.
So we'll check that out. We'll let all our listeners know. And thank you, Larry. Thank you so much. Continued success.
Thank
and
you.
We look forward to
Thank
your
you,
new
Steve.
projects.
Thank you, Larry.
And thank you, Steve.
Thanks, Larry. Take care, buddy.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.
That was awesome.
Cool. Well, that was a great interview, I hope. I don't know.
I think you
What
did
do you
fine.
how did
Yeah,
he-
I thought it was really interesting.
he's great, right?
Yeah, I thought he was very giving.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's really fascinating.
Yes.
Got a really lifetime story to tell.
You know what?
It makes me tired listening
These
to
are
his
the
life
actors.
stories.
These are the actors
Yeah.
you need to look up to.
Right.
The ones that they're not
The
getting,
grind.
They're not getting millions. They're just getting in there. And you're right. They're grinding. They're working.
grinding.
They're working.
They're the true creators
And
because you
they're-
see, he's 79 years old.
Yep.
79, Sally, and
I know,
he's
crazy.
and he's still writing and passion. The passion's never lost. He's 80 years old. And he
Right.
still wants to create.
I know.
He's not cashing
and
it
I
in.
know that's how you feel too.
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, it's, and he does what he likes to do, and, if 10 people watch it, so be it. You
Yeah.
know, like if you look at his website, and that's kind of the stuff, and that's at Real Larry Hankin. Definitely check it out. I look up a lot of his IMDb page, and you've seen a lot of it, and you know all the people. That's like you were saying, all those guys in the village and everything he went through. So
Yeah.
really great, great interview. Thank you, Sally and Tony. Knock 'em Dead Comedy for setting that up in Governors. That was really great, and we hope to bring you more
Let's do more.
star-studded
We're
interviews.
gonna look for. Let's look for some stars.
We'll get some more stars. I don't know many, but I'll see what I can find on the drive home. And thank you for spending time with us. Thank you, Steve. Sally, thank you as usual.
Very welcome.
Great job, boy.
Fun.
Okey-doke.
That was cool. And thank you guys for listening. We're going to put this up. You can catch it on, again, this interview on the Steve Squared Show catch it on we'll put it on Facebook, YouTube, govsradio.com. Everywhere and anywhere. Feel free. Share the square. And have a wonderful week. And until next time, thank you and enjoy November.
Nighty-night.